Good morning, this is Lisette Zahira Taibay, and I have with me
Jamal Taliba Dulabay.
So this morning what I would like to discuss is the principle of mentalism. The all is mind and the universe is mental. So a lot of times what happens is a lot of people do not know how to, their decisions in life makes a big impact on their reality, but they don't know how to control it. And then in regards to their emotions, they don't know how to keep that intact. So what happens when they do that is they lose control of themselves and what their goal was and what they were trying to achieve at that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to go over this morning is the fact of loving yourself. In order for you to spread love and peace, you must love yourself. You have to be in touch with yourself. And a lot of times people don't know how to get in touch with themselves because growing up in society, we're told if we look a certain way, if we dress a certain way, if we speak a certain way, we will or will not be accepted, depending on how we operate. So I want to tell people to get in touch with themselves and love themselves for who they truly are. Like example, some women feel as though if they don't wear makeup, they're not pretty. Some women feel as though they need that to enhance their beauty. So I just kind of want to just let everyone know that just to be happy with yourself and love yourself truly, because you can't spread love and you can't expect anyone to love you back if you don't love yourself first. So getting in touch with yourself and your inner self. A lot of things that I like to do. Meditation is great. It helps with reducing anxiety and stress. It improves your memory as well. Some people I know that can be difficult in regards to meditating. Sometimes a nice walk, a long drive, anything like that can help with your mental state. And then there's different mental stimulating exercises that you can do to enhance your memory and your connectivities with your brains. So
I can just add on real quick.
Go ahead.
When I first started farming, there was this, lemon balm, the plant.
Mm-hmm.
It smells dope. That actually helps with calming your nervous system. So that can help you, calm down and then think oh, I'm this being that's existing right now, and then it slows you down a little bit, connects you with nature, and then you can find out who you are, and then be yourself, So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, her teas, certain remedies are good as well too. Because not a lot of people, meditation is going to work for them too. So that's a great example that you brought that up. So yeah, there's different things that you can do. And like I said, not everything is going to work for everyone. So you kind of just got to find your balance. But one thing I will say is just really step outside the box. Because that's the problem with our people in today's society. We're so accustomed to being a certain way that anything outside of their ordinary, they're not comfortable with. And I feel as though to truly get in touch with yourself, you have to step outside of your boundaries. You have to go against those great lengths to really hone in on who you truly are. So it's kind of like you have to challenge yourself, you have to motivate yourself, and you have to push yourself in order to reach that great potential of who you are. So
can I interject? That's talked about in the Circle 7 when it's talked about the compass and the square. And sharpening your weak points, or sharpening your skills, and smoothing out your rough edges. That's exactly what you're talking about, and it's talked about in the Circle 7. So I just wanted to, make that correlation to what Noble Drew Ali brought us.
Yes. So, and I'm going to add on to that. So you want to focus your energy on important things, because a lot of times our energy is diverted to places that it doesn't need to be. Focusing on things that we shouldn't be focusing on. Like a lot of single women that have children, single moms, they need to really hone in on loving themselves and loving their children, because what they don't understand is everything that they go through and what they're dealing with, their kids are dealing with it and going through it too. Sometimes they don't realize it, but kids know when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're happy. So you gotta really understand the complexity of your surroundings. You have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. So it's kind of like a lot of times single moms, they'll get into this thing where they're not putting their children first. Some will be chasing after men and not worried about their kids, and you know, putting their kids in places that are really gonna make it better, doing things with their kids, taking their kids out, actually spending that time with their kids to make a difference, to make an impact. So it's kind of like if you have if you don't have goals and you don't have a purpose or anything, you're just leaving your kids lost. And you're not giving them an outlet or enough space to grow or room to do anything because you're limiting them. So it's kind of like whatever your actions are, that's going to determine like how your kids turn out. Yep. Like a lot of women, oh my God, my kids are so bad. Yeah. They always do. Yeah. Well, do you spend time with your kids or do you always have them in front of a TV? Do you read a book with them or do you always have them listening to whatever's on the radio stations? You get what I'm saying? Do you actually take them outside? Do you actually do things with them? Because that's the problem. A lot of times people are not loving themselves and they're not loving their kids. They're not honoring their husbands. They're not doing any of these things. And it's kind of like you can't expect in life to be efficient and to prosper if you're not able to do certain things. You can't.
Men too.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
Men definitely need to participate and
of course,
and teach their sons what they want them to know. Teach their daughters, you know, what a man is, and spend good quality time with their kids too, and teach them. Don't let other men teach them.
Yeah, and that's why in my other videos I always say we don't have men out here because that's the truth. They're doing stupid stuff. And then I want to add on to what you're saying about the cares of the world. You're worried about what's going on out there instead of your children. That's why humanity is written on the woman's womb, because the first schoolroom is the womb. So you got to know what you're teaching your children. Not even outside, like when you bring them here, but when they're in the womb, you know what I mean? We learn there first. So like you said, your mind state affects the children. And the Europeans know that. That's why they suppress our women. Remember the Shriner with the sword above the Moabite woman's head? And then the whole thing with the Willie Lynch? They're really attacking y'all, not us. It's just we're just like a result of what happens when they get y'all.
And they're attacking us through the kids too.
Yeah.
We need
through the
these
children.
Jordans, we need these video games, we need...
Not even just like that. They're
really
really attacking it on the point and the principle of the fact of the matter that what they do is they separate the man outside of the household. So a lot of and this is the problem too, with a lot of these government agencies like that offer food stamps and child care and things like that. You know, if you're married, you can't get none of that. And guess what? There's people that are married, right? And they still have child care from the state. And guess what? Their husband still has to pay child support and the daycare, even though they're married and they're together. But if that woman was single, guess what? Daycare, everything, that would all be set, and she wouldn't have to worry about that.
Can I add on to that? I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but that's part of the 48 laws of power. Keep your enemy dependent on you. Yes. That's what the Europeans are doing to our women, because our men don't want to step up, and we want all the fame and glory of being a drug dealer, rapper, businessman, but we don't want to take the responsibility and actually create a business.
Yeah.
Or take the responsibility to learn how to create a trust, to know how to combat these Europeans when they try to encroach on our things.
Yeah,
we just want
it right now.
We want that material stuff.
Perfect example, when we drove in, what do we see on somebody's tires?
Oh yeah, the shiny, yeah.
So make it look like they had rims.
Yeah.
Like seriously?
Yeah.
Is that bad? You want it that bad?
Yep.
And
it's the appearance. It's the colored. We're really colored people. We want to appear like we're saved and everything, but we're really not. And it's affecting the children. Literally. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's sad. Very sad.
So to bounce off of what you said, because you brought up the first 48 laws of power. 48 laws of power. I want to hone in on Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument.
Yes.
So my point about your energy being places where it shouldn't be, don't do that. Because you're not going to get any positive results coming out of that at all. You won't, like, there's levels of argument though, you know, because when you're in court, you definitely want to argue. But in everyday life, we're dealing with regular people in your society. You catch more bees with honey than you do with lemons. So, and then the thing is, like, any monetary triumph, like you're gonna be happy for that moment in time, but then after that moment passes and subdues, you're still gonna feel miserable and upset and still be like, because the way you went about it and your energy was not necessarily needed at that moment in time. But since you gave it, you just fueled it. Yeah. You drained yourself, and then you fueled, you gave more to the negativity. And that's the thing. We're dealing with unforeseen forces. So it's kind of like the stars, the planets, the universe itself. Like, if you could be the one blocking your own blessings just because of certain actions in your life. And
that karma.
Yes, and guess what? The universe might take it as you're not ready to receive those blessings that it has for you. So you're always wondering, why am I like this? Or why am I always having trouble with keeping a job? Or why can I never find love? It's because, perfect example, you're not listening to yourself, and you're not reciprocating that out into the universe. So how can you get back love and peace? And
how could you reap what you sow if you didn't sow anything?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you're bringing up amazing points. Like, even when you're talking, I'm thinking about the situation of our people. We're always complaining about all this negative stuff happening, and our energies are being diverted into colorable, like NAACP, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, all these colored places. Like, they're meant to just divert our energy.
Yeah.
When really we need a more Science Temple of America to handle certain things. Like, as an example, if we wanted to start a business, Drew Riley set it up so we have a Council of Commerce within the Moore Science Temple. So that's where we go to register our stuff, to, you know, put on the record we're doing this, instead of going to these Europeans who are just going to rob from us anyway. You see what I'm saying? Like, all these problems that we have, there's a remedy for it.
Yeah.
So let's put our energy into what's going to work. Because it's already proven NAACP is not working. Because, I mean, we're still in poverty, so clearly it's not working.
But that's why
You know what I mean?
I brought up the whole being, like, self-efficient. You get what I'm saying? And that goes into finances. Like, in order to have those solutions for the people, people gotta, like, really step outside of their comfort zone.
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna hone in on something really quick, and this is personal in regards to me. So, I went back to the facility where I was working at, where I was arrested for those allegations made against me that I got dismissed in Superior Court. So now the problem is, I went back there. At first they're like, we got to see if you're eligible for rehire, and I'm like, it's not like I did anything at the job for you guys to fire me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just got arrested at the facility for some bullshit, and now I have, excuse my French, now I have the paperwork for you guys. They have it all documented, right? The letter of dismissal, everything. She's like, oh, I'm gonna call you tomorrow because I gotta make sure you're eligible for rehire. But mind you, she's been telling me, she's been calling me nonstop to have me coming for an interview. Why would you have me coming for an interview if you didn't even check first to see if I was eligible for rehire? But that's like minor, whatever, right? That's not even the main point that I'm getting at. The main point that I'm getting at is, so went through the whole hiring process, did all the paperwork. They come back, they're like, oh, well, as of November 16th, you have a pending investigation on a misdemeanor of the first count of receiving money under false pretenses. So they're like, they can't go forward with the hiring process. That I would have to have that matter handled before I go forward. Now, you see, now I could be the one like, oh my God, I fucking hate this, I'm done, like, you know, and just wild out. You know, but I'm like, no, I gotta be self-efficient. Clearly right now, me trying to uphold my occupation as a certified nurse and assistant, that's not gonna happen right now because I still have these matters that I'm dealing with court. But I have 2 children to raise, so if you think I'm just gonna sit at home and just wait for something to fall out the sky, you have a loving mind. So it's kind of like, they're not giving me a chance to work.
Can I add on to what you're saying right now? Because what they're doing to you is genocide.
Yes.
Can you get my book, please? Because I want to read what the actual definition is. Oh, it's in my bag. Because it's certain things that are implemented to bring out either a slow destruction or an immediate destruction of your life. They're not allowing you to work, even though you got the charges dismissed. But they're trying to bring them up again, which that's double jeopardy. You see what I'm saying? So this is literally what genocide is. Because you have children. That's destroying your family because you can't provide for them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point I was getting at.
Yeah.
Like, but this is the thing. This is the part of being self-efficient. Now, I could walk around all day thinking, oh my God, because I can't get a job because of my BCI, how am I going to survive for me and my kids and not have nothing? Or I can just do the next best thing I know how to do. Like, example, I know how to cook really good. And I make really good desserts, and a lot of people like them. So it's kind of like there's different things like that.
And Rights of Indigenous People says you have every right to do whatever you want. To like, if you're good at, you don't need no culinary license from no European to cook food on your own land and then give it to your own people.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Because a license is permission. You don't need permission to do that.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like that's why I did this whole video about just being self-efficient because a lot of people say, you know, they clock into that 9 to 5.
Yeah, because they think that they need it.
They need it.
It's the Job in the Bible. The Job, you're just a servant. But I'm going to read the definition of genocide. So genocide, generally speaking, genocide does not necessarily mean the immediate destruction of a nation, except when accomplished by mass killings of all members of a nation. It is intended rather to signify a coordinated plan of different actions aimed at the destruction of essential foundations of the life of national groups with the aim of annihilating the groups themselves. And you can get that on edimononline.com. So it's let's see what it is. A coordination of different plans. So the plan was to accuse you of a crime you didn't commit, so you lose your job, so you can't support your family. That's genocide. Not, oh, because my skin's brown and they don't like me, it's racism. No, it's genocide. You see what I'm saying? Now, if we had an organized drill society, a body politic, the more science of America, we can prevent that together. Now, I just wanted to read this real quick from the Prophet, right? Excuse me. Let me see.
And for the people, until stuff is established, be self-efficient and come up with some solutions then too, until certain things are established. Because at the end of the day, the world's still going to keep going.
Yeah.
Time's not going to stop for nobody.
Yeah.
So whether or not things are established or not established, you really have to be self-efficient and like be able to take care of yourself with or without the government's help. So that's it. Look, I haven't been able to work for almost 2 years now. Me and my kids are still surviving.
Still genocide. All right, now this is what the Prophet said, right? This is Prophet Drelly speaks to the nations. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become a part of this divine movement. Then you will have the power to redeem your race because you will know who you are and your forefathers and who your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think your condition can be better. We all think our condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish divine and national movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what was meant when it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be granted, will be added onto you," by the prophet. So, them messing with you, right? That shouldn't even be a thing. It should be you're a national. Oh, let me go to the temple and say, "Hey, Sheik, this person's not hiring me because of this." That's a violation of rights of indigenous people. That's just, they can't not hire you for certain things. That's a violation of international law. That's a violation of the Constitution. That's a violation of your human rights. But the problem is we don't have enough people to go Debo up to your job and be like, "You're violating this." Peacefully, "Hey, stop doing this. You want to go to international court? You want to be sued for genocide?" That's the temple's job.
And that was my whole thing about earlier. I could get all crazy and be like, "F this," and go about suing their asses. But I'm like, no, I have to still survive for me and my kids. So it's kind of...
You can't put energy into that right now.
Exactly.
And you can't because you have children.
Not even just that. I can't because I got my energy elsewhere too.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm still dealing with these bastards on a misdemeanor now. They just can't take losing, I guess. That's the problem. I'm dealing with sore losers now. That's really what it is. They're like, oh.
They're like children.
Yeah, they're, we lost you in a higher court. Let's try to beat you in a small court.
And they're not going to. All right, so here's what This is, let me see. This is...
But give your brain the opportunity for new connections, honestly. Yeah. You really need to. Open your mind, free your mind.
New things.
Yes.
Like, let me see. This is from Drelly's 1099, his Express Trust. Let me see. Whereas all recorded Moors shall have the prerogative of jurisdiction in all matters including nationality, title, status, claim, right, interest, and in the nature of any matter civil, criminal, commercial, or otherwise involving a Moor. Furthermore, the Department of Vital Statistics in each state, in which a recorded Moor was born, shall transfer and convey as title the domicile of origin back to the Moorish Empire. So, we have a prerogative in any issue on our land. Mm-hmm. They're violating your rights. That's a problem. So, since you have a family, right? You got stuff you got to do. This is how it should work. You go to the temple. Hey, they're violating me like this. You come sit with the council, right? We talk about what your situation is. Mm-hmm. You can give power of attorney to a nationalized Moor. Why not? Because you got other things you need to do. Someone who's skilled in law will be like, okay, here's proof that, Lisette gave me power of attorney to handle this affair. Mm-hmm. Leave my people alone.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
You don't think the wealthy sit at home and do whatever they gotta do, and the attorney goes and deals with whatever they needs to be handled? Mm-hmm.
All you gotta do, that's why Noble Riley said, if you do nothing else, declare your nationality. Mm-hmm. Just declare it. Say, oh, you know what? We do need a temple here, because I don't want to deal with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Someone who I know is very skilled in this, who's willing to teach other people, oh yeah, and we'll handle it like that. Mm-hmm. But first we need to get people's consciousness level up, bring awareness of the temple up, like, hey, we need this because real life situations are happening, mm-hmm. You know what I mean, and we need help. And, 3 of us is a lot, but it would be very helpful if we had a lot more people so we can go to, hey, Governor Gina Raimondo, leave my people alone. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, sir, that's nobles of the land. Mm-hmm. A policy enforcer, leave this person alone.
Yeah,
that's
so
how
now
it's supposed to
you're
work.
not dealing with
all right,
one
but that
person.
goes into finances.
All right, finances. All right, let's talk about finances.
So,
Rights of indigenous people. The states shall take effective measures and where appropriate, special measures, meaning funding operations, mm-hmm. ensuring that our economic situation gets better. So it's not just on our backs. These Europeans owe us a debt. Mm-hmm. So yes, economics, yes, but we're not alone. Once the people realize, oh, we're owed something, or people already know, mm-hmm. reparations, we know. Mm-hmm. But now the Moorish nation is that being prepared. So again, if you do nothing else, proclaim your nationality, say which nation you belong to so it can be repaired.
Yeah, we need these Moors to wake up.
Exactly. So
what can people do in the meantime to
study,
repair?
Study. Remember, it starts with the mind. Remember, put your energy in something useful. This is all building up what you're saying. This is more useful than buying Jordans and fake jewelry. Yeah. And going drinking every Friday and Saturday. I was in the Marines. We was partying every Friday and Saturday. I did nothing but destroy my temple. Mm. Now I'm like, oh, there's real stuff that's going on. Let me do something. Or try to do something.
You don't need to build in
the placebo effect?
Yeah. What about it?
Like pretty much thinking that like your reality, like pretty much thinking like what something that's actually not gonna fix a problem is gonna fix a problem. Thinking like that in the sense of that's like.
Well, be specific. Like what?
Okay, like matters that are out your hand. Okay, example. I'll take myself, right. Mm-hmm. I could get mad that the damn prosecutor has yet to tell me anything. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Which is a violation of your rights.
As far as their credentials, as far as their appellation, as far as mm-hmm. their status, all that, right? Mm-hmm. I could be like, you know what? He didn't give me this. I'm going to be mad, right? And now I'm going to go off. But no. You want to know why? Because now he wants to know my status and everything. Oh, so since now you want to know my stuff, all of that of me wanting to know your status and everything, now I can ask because now you ask for my stuff. But if I was stressing myself worrying about something that I have no control on, mm-hmm. there wasn't going to be a different outcome. Mm-hmm. The outcome is what it was already. You get what I'm saying? The matter was where it was left at the last time I went to tribunal. So mm-hmm. it's like, if I'm going to be mad and hone in on that they're BSing me, they're trying to charge me at the same thing they already lost on and superior, so double jeopardy. But it's like, I'm not going to divert my energy where it doesn't need to be. Where it needs to be right now is actually honing in on the fact of, okay, this is law, we're dealing with specifics, and this is what's going on.
And you're dealing with Islam, you're dealing with submission. You're submitting to what the reality is. The reality is we're dealing with criminals. And you're still standing on your square. You're still operating on truth, navigating through these criminals. Still getting stuff done. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
Yeah.
I've been behind bars somewhere.
Yeah.
If I left it up to them,
I want to add on to that too, because there's some Indians that have been saying that, oh, Moors are terrorists, or like, you know, the police, the Europeans have, you know, labeled Moors as a terrorist organization or a group. How come we're not in jail?
No,
because we're not terrorists.
And it's not terrorists. It's called black extremist groups.
No, we're not black extremist groups.
No,
they try to label us as that.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're saying they're calling us terrorists.
But don't own that, because that's
I'm not
what we
owning
are.
it. I'm just saying, if you guys see that's what they try to label us as.
Yeah, but that's not what we are. I'm just because, you know, there's people who are learning and they need to know that's not who we are.
No.
Also, I wanted to add this too. I wanted to say it in the beginning, but you when you started.
She stole your show.
Yeah, I know, it's all good. That's good though. You know, she got
I don't know
the
how I
passion.
stole the show when I was supposed. He asked me to do a class.
All right,
I
here we
said
go.
yes.
So this is Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. So we're not no black extremists. We're not no extreme nothing. Right? And then our high principles, our principles that we all live by is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So none of that is extremism or whatever. Right? Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course, right? Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. So again, we're not no terrorists. I don't care what people label us. Standing for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is not, that doesn't sound like terrorism to me. Terrorism is killing people for a political motive or using violence and abuse as a political motive. So what the police are doing to us, that's police terrorism. They're the terrorists. You see?
You could have just said terrorism is for political gain.
No, but it's using violence. Remember, all specific. You just said it, so we got to be specific. So terrorism is using violence against citizens for political gain. Google it. You know, and then the United Nations, they can hear genocide and they can hear terrorism. They can't hear racism. And then when Noble Drew Ali said the Europeans are helping me with this stuff, how come you're not? And then do your research on the United Nations Special Committee of 24 decolonization. And they're trying to get these Europeans off our land. Why? Because they're saying you can't get a job. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is more than just what people really think it is. Like, this is, the Science Temple helps the Special Committee of 24 with decolonization, getting these Europeans off our land. Also helps, turn our people into better men and women. Stop worrying about buying shoes and fake rims from Walmart. You know what I mean? Get out of the cares of the world. Women, like you said, educate your children better. Stop worrying about chasing men. That's what the Moorish Science Temple is. It's more than just what people think it is, for some reason. Well, I think it's because they don't read, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
this is saying, look, I'm reading it for you, so you know, here's a way in. Like, do research on this.
Yeah, they hear temple and the first thing they think is church.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's a civic organization first.
Mhm.
Then Drelly adopted a religious affidavit.
Mhm.
They don't even know that.
No.
So like people always have an opinion about what this is, but they don't look into what it is.
Mhm.
It's kind of like if I just look at this book, if I look at the cover and I'm like, oh yeah, this book sucks. People doing, or they're going off. Let's say I read this book, right, and I say, oh yeah, this book sucks, and then you just listen to what I said and don't read it for yourself, and then you just start parroting, oh yeah, this book sucks. That's what people are doing with the More Science Temple. You get what I'm saying? It's wild. Also, I wanted to read this too, the slander of our people, right? Because these Europeans, this is all relative, right? The Europeans always try to make us look like we're criminals, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is what I wanted to read that the Providence Journal wrote. So this is the Providence Police, and then it's talking about rapper Hammer Beans caught with gun, pot, and pot cookies. What's pot?
Cannabis.
Is it? Because that looks like a pot, like pots and pans.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You see the trick?
Mm.
All right. And this is by Amanda Milkovitz, whoever that is, journal staff writer. Friday, July 28th, 2017 at 9:29 a.m. Updated July 28th, 2017 at 12:01 p.m. And this is Providence, Rhode Island, right? The branded Narragansett territory. That's not Providence. Providence is a colony, not the land. A local gang leader who raps as Hammer Beans is accused of having a gun, bags of marijuana, and marijuana cookies, labeled with his likeness as Hammerstone, right? James Owen, 28, who also performs as Hammer Hendrix, was arrested Thursday evening after Providence officers checked out why he was sitting in a car near 190 Gallup Street. So already...
Why do you need multiple people to check on a guy in his own car?
And they're just... Oh, what cause?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What
Where's
are you
the
going to this car for?
cause?
And this is their trick, right? An area that has had problems with gunfire, that's their probable cause.
No, that's not probable cause.
Exactly, right? The police have been sending extra patrols into that area, into areas with potential for violence, like this block in South Providence, said Major Robert Lepre, or whatever his name is. Who cares? He's a European. On our land, trying to talk crap about our people. I don't care what he has to say. Owens, a convicted felon and part of the Harriet Street gang, was in a car with Carlos Bueno, 25, who was also affiliated with the gang and whose house on Wilson Street was shot up 2 weeks ago, according to police. Who we know are criminals. So, criminals are saying this. Owens has already had a few contacts with police this year. In May, he was arrested on warrants during a drug raid at an apartment in Roger Williams' homes. Remember, Roger Williams is the clergyman who infiltrated the Narragansett Confederation and overthrew it, right? In February, he was in a car with a woman from Dayton, Mass, who police say had a loaded gun with obliterated serial marks in her waistband. Okay? They try to make her a gun with obliterated serial marks. What does that mean? Scratched off? Why they gotta say obliterated? Why they say scratched off?
No, they gotta use them words.
Yeah. This is slander.
This
is slander. Right? Sergeant Patrick Potter and Patrolman Michael Place reported seeing and smelling the marijuana in the car. Now, hold on.
What?
Hold on. Let's stop right there. Didn't rights of indigenous people say indigenous people have the right to preserve all medicinal plants? Mm-hmm. So they're trying to use that as probable cause when clearly it's not. Article 24, United Nations Declaration
of Rights. Is that why they call it marijuana instead of cannabis?
Yeah, but in here it'll tell you in the law book that marijuana is cannabis. So it's just, again, it's to sound like it's something bad.
But even still, now you're going off with the cop thinks his opinion?
Yeah.
Instead of an actual fact?
Yeah, that pot and pot cookies. What is that? See? All right. After they had both men step out, placed I guess I'm supposed to say police, noticed a gun in an open backpack on the back seat, according to a police report. The police say that Owens was responsible for the drugs and a gun, a loaded Davis .38 caliber pistol with a obliterated serial number. The backpack also had more bags of marijuana, as well as 31 burned music CDs, according to police. Bueno was released, but Owens was held on 3 gun charges and due for arraignment at district court Friday. He was also given a summons for marijuana possessions. Now, let's go into law, right? Law states everyone has the right to bear arms. A right which is free and open to all cannot be licensed. So, what gun possession? You see what I'm saying? That's the lack of knowledge. Again, indigenous people have the right to maintain all medicinal plants. And I have a picture from the journal. You got brown skin like Bernard's Brash. He's an indigenous person, right? So that's what the journal said. And I have the link here. So if anyone wants the link, you know, I'll probably provide it in the description, but whatever. All right, that's what it looks like. And then I screenshotted what the journal wrote, and this is what I wrote in response, because Raleigh said the best weapon we have is our press. That was the problem in his journal. They're putting out slander against our people, so okay, I'm gonna put what you wrote. I'm gonna tag you in it, and I'm gonna come back with a rebuttal since you're commenting on my people. So get out of here, right? So these bureaucratic. So this is from me. November 29th is when I posted this at 12:50 a.m. These bureaucratic criminals are always spreading propaganda to make it seem like our people are criminals. Didn't that description sound like he did something wrong?
Yeah.
Right? That's what most people will believe. In order for a crime to exist, there must be an injured party. Board of Trade versus Olson. Who did this man injure? In any of that, did it describe any injured person? Did he harm anyone? Mm-hmm. He was just sitting in his vehicle, minding his business. And he was bearing arms. And he had medicinal plants on him.
All well
what's wrong with
his
that?
Rights.
Exactly. How can he be arrested for having medicinal plants on him if the rights of indigenous people states that we have the right to preserve any and all medicinal plants? Article 24 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. How can he be arrested for bearing arms when it clearly states that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed? Second Amendment. If you claim it's because he didn't have a license, well, guess what? In Chicago versus Collins, it was declared that a right is not subject to a license. If you're wondering if the rights of indigenous people applies to him, read the Inter-American definition on what an indigenous person is, and you will clearly see he falls within its definition. They try to make us seem like we are bad people. According to Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, a gang is a company of persons who go about together or act in concert. So, the police are a gang. The military is a gang. Organized government is a gang. The sheriff's department is a gang. A family is a gang. A board meetings are gangs. Congress is a gang. And a courtroom is a gang. According to the same law dictionary, a drug is any substance, vegetable, animal, or mineral used in the composition or preparation of a medicine. Last time I checked, slander is a crime. Defacing a man's character is a crime. They said a drug rage, so did they get animals, plants, minerals? What did they get? You see? But the word drug, people think, drugs are bad. But then we got these pharmaceuticals. Yeah. You see how they make it seem like our people, gang leader, but the police is a gang, Congress is a gang, a courtroom is a gang. You see what I'm saying? The more science temple.
And they put all this symbolism around. How often do you see the word drug with a circle and X around?
Yeah. When a drug, by law, right? Law dictionary is any substance, vegetable, animal, or mineral used in the composition or preparation of medicine. That's what a drug is. But you think it's something negative, because that's what they want you to think. And like Drew Ali said, our press is our strongest weapon. So to combat them, slandering our people, that's what we're supposed to do. Like, hey, no. You ain't saying, this ain't going by me. Like, I read it, I was like, this ain't slipping by. These criminals ain't slipping by trying to make it seem like our people did something wrong. He didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah. He has a son. I don't want to put his personal business, but he has family, you know what I mean? Like, that's genocide. Arresting him for nothing. That, like, if, oh man.
That's like, if you made a holistic tea to help, heal symptoms of a cold, and somebody found you with it, that's a drug bust?
Yeah, if you got potatoes and carrots and you're making soup and that's medicine, that's drugs. You see? That's why, again, Noble Drew Ali said, if the Europeans are helping, why not you? United Nations Rights on Indigenous People said, we have the right to maintain all medicinal plants. They're trying to help us. But we're stuck in this black game. That's really the need for the More Science Temple, you know what I mean? To teach our people this is what's going on.
Yeah. Wake up.
Yeah.
The United Nations is supreme law.
Exactly.
And they gave us tools.
Yeah, now let's qualify, because you said, United Nations is supreme law. People are like, no, it's not. Okay. Article 6 of the Constitution states all debts and contracts entered into before the adoption of the Constitution shall be valid against, you know, whatever, shall be valid against the United States as in the Confederation, right? And all treaties made or contracts which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. President Obama signed the rights of indigenous people, making it the supreme law of the United States Corporation Company, meaning these Europeans on our land are obligated to it because Obama made them obligated to it, even though they already were.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it was like, oh.
He just gave them more strength.
He just put icing on it.
Mm-hmm.
To help people like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I sent him some of this information, and then he, you know, he said thank you, and then he asked for more.
Mm-hmm.
Cause he's in it.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, and he know he didn't do nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's the need for the Moorish Science Temple. That's the need for people to direct their energy into something useful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To teach their children, like, hey, this is what you fight for. You don't march and pray and get nothing done.
Mm-hmm.
That's a diversion of your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's create a Juro society. So we can talk law, like, you know the situation that happened with him that's messed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's send him information. Oh, you want to correct your status? All we require for you to do is declare your nationality.
Mm-hmm.
How you do that? Oh, you just got to study.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need no tribal ID and give you some commercial number and sell you out like all these other people. Just confess who you are, and it will help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's that, you know, that lion grip that the Masons do. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Egypt, when they, you know, resurrecting people from the dead, it's the civil little more too. It's the civilly dead status. Raising you up to a living perpendicular so you can think for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's think together and get our people out of this situation. I know I kind of took the floor, but I want to give it back to you. But I just wanted to, you know, make those points, because this is this is very, like, when I read this stuff and I talk about this stuff, I'm not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him letters in jail. You know, I don't want to say too much, but I sent him civic information, the stuff that Taj, you know, hands out. Like when you order his books, he'll send you what you ordered and more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I sent him some stuff, and I even asked him, like, can you get books? I'll send you my book.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got nothing but time.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get him out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking yesterday, like, all these so-called leader guys running for mayor, running for, you know, governor, running for city, whatever, talking about they're for the people. How come you ain't giving them that information if you know law?
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, once he wakes up, he can pass that on to somebody else before he gets up out of there.
Yeah, and I heard he was studying too before, like he was studying some stuff, not, you know, exactly more science, but he was studying law.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he's not a dummy, or people ain't dumb.
Yeah, because you're in a situation. Our people have never been one to sit down on things.
Mm-hmm.
We just need direction.
Yeah.
We just need purpose.
An example.
Yeah.
Because I was actually, when I went to New York for my grandmother's funeral, I was talking to one of my uncles, and he was talking about how he was studying 5%ers for years and all that kind of stuff. And he said he was observing, like, the situation in New York, because he moved out, or what they call New York. And he said, like, a lot of things are the same, and some things change. And he was telling me, like, a lot of people don't want to take responsibility. Like, they just want to complain that something bad's happening. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but there's also people who desire change.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, everyone being like this, with the knowledge, that's not going to bring about those warriors who came to this planet to fix this issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this needs to be a more open discussion, so people are like, oh, here's what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not just, oh, there's nothing out here for nobody because these black leaders are sellouts, these Indians are sellouts, and some of these Moors are sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the blacks and Indians are Moors too, so those are the Moors who are selling out.
And this is the generation, that third generation
Yeah.
everybody talks about, that is
coming
ready
with their
to
eyes wide
receive
open.
this information. So stop being quiet about it.
Yep.
Share it.
That's why Drew Ali said these new Moors gonna come in and put your old Moors sit you in the back. Cause this ain't fun. You going to deal with these Europeans on your land? Is that fun?
No.
Because you have a family. You don't want to deal with this.
But
it's something that needs to happen.
Wasting her time, resources,
energy, which is all violation of divine law.
It's a principle, though. I could have took deals. I could have took deals.
I know.
But did I know? Because I'm standing in my square and standing on principle.
And what did Noble Drew Ali say? He said, enforce our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Obama say? The Constitution is derived from Muslim law.
Mm-hmm.
And what do the Indians say? The Indians say, oh yeah, we taught the Europeans everything. So what does that mean? Those Indians are really Muslims. They're Moors. Mm. And then Drew Ali said, you know, this is what he said, right? He said, come all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth of your nationality and birthrights. because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. Now, there's another one who says we're not Negro, blacks, colored folks, nor Ethiopians, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. And I'm saying that because Indians are classified as colored, right? Oh, here it is. So through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who are of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing. So again, we're Asiatics, right? I kind of want to bring that point because Indians are classified as colored. They're classified, but the issue is status.
Yeah.
Some of the Indians are arguing class, like, oh, reclassify us as Indians. Well, you're not. Correct your status, and your class will change, right? So the point is, Drew Ali calls us Asiatics, right? Let me see, where is this? I thought I had it open already. And I want to take this little excerpt from this book that I was reading. I was in a William Hall library, and I don't know why I said it like that, but and one of these books, the Europeans referred to the so-called Indians, the Native American Indians, as Asiatics. And you know, there's no coincidences. All things happen according to law. And I just want to put the book out there for the record, so people know, like, these Europeans know we're not Indians. So let me just find that real quick. I had it up, but I guess I closed it.
That's the same thing, like I called you yesterday when I was at the library finding all that stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about the Connecticut Constitution.
And they're never specific.
Yeah, they don't want to name the land or the people that they were dealing with.
Yep. All right, so let me see. All right, so this is from Indians and Explorers, pre-1636, Chapter 1. Well, that's a section of the book. The actual book is called An Album of Rhode Island History, 1636 to 1968, by Patrick T. Conley, right? And he says, primitive people of Asiatic origin, mistakenly named Indian, and he put Indian in quotation marks, by Columbus, were the first inhabitants of present-day Rhode Island. Now, we already know it's not Rhode Island, it's Narragansett, right? And they always do that. They always put the word Indian, like, on their official documents and stuff like that. Like, if you go to the government of Rhode Island's, like, website, and I also have this in one of the books that that little treatise that I sent you. Towards the bottom, I think. Is it towards the bottom?
They come up with all these names and divisions. Why are you calling it Indian in the book if you're actually categorizing it as color? Because then color would be
because it's a game.
Easily bring back some Moors.
Yeah. Well, for those who know law, I can't find it. I'll probably put it in the link to the description. But if you go on the Rhode Island's website, go to Secretary of State, you go to Home, you go to Civics and Education. Remember, law and history go together. They will always put Indian in quotation marks because they know we're not Indians. They'll always say mistaken as Indians, and they'll put Indian quotation marks. So it's like an admittance that they know we're not. But then they got, the sellouts running the streets talking about, oh yeah, the Indians, the Indians, we're the Indians, selling the birthright. When the real issue is, it's not your class. Stop asking to be not classified as colored. Declare your nationality and you'll be classified as info life. Then you'll just be existing. That's the right to, self-determination, right? And I always make this argument with these so-called Indians. Well, don't make this argument with so-called Indians because you'll just get into a debate. But think like this, right? If you're claiming immemorial blood ties to this land, why are you calling yourself Indian if that was only applied to your people by a foreigner in 1492?
Yeah.
1492 is not immemorial. That's where it began. Therefore, that's where it ends.
So why do you keep that name?
Exactly. And then try to claim you're honorable.
They're always in these legal battles about the land and stuff. So you can't tell me that you don't have no lawyers. You can't tell me that you haven't looked up the definition of Native American.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. I've spoken with some of them. These Indians who are really dirty Moors right? The leaders, not the followers, the leader guys who were talking about their sagamores, their chiefs, their shakams, their sheiks, those people. They know law. I've had conversations with them, and we use legalese, we speak openly, right? They know what's up. They know what's up. So, you know, you're making a good point, but they're selling their people out. Knowingly. So you're making a good point, but I'm telling you, when you have a conversation with these people, they'll use legalese. You can do research of them going through the system. They know law. They read books. They know what color means. They know what Indian title is not real ownership. They know that. But they're getting finance from the Europeans to sell their birthright. Yeah. To sell their own people. And then, oh, go ahead.
They need to, you know, the same thing is happening to us.
Yep. Because we're the same people.
Yep, exactly. So, you, for your own sake, you need to, don't just blindly trust people. Look into it yourself. Everything that we talk about here, I go back and restudy. Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to have you follow me. I'm trying to set it up to where we can both think freely together and fix things. Not so, oh yeah, join my tribe and get this Indian ID and number, you know, this number associated with you, which is the mark of the beast, again, selling you. And then we just march and pray and that's it. Like, nah, let's take our land back. Let's set it up so you don't have to, you know, your children don't have to go through what you're going through. We can have affordable housing for our people, enforce the rights of indigenous people, get these Europeans off our people's backs, stop having our people pay taxes to the Europeans who don't owe any allegiance to us at all, stop working for these European corporation companies that just fire us for no reason because they have no allegiance to us at all, and it's not racism, it's terrorism. Let's fix the issue. We can't fix the issue if you're following me. I don't have all the answers. Yeah. Right? Our people like, stop being greedy. Get out of your lower self. That's useless. It's annoying, right? What were you saying? I got all fired up.
No, that's you hit it right on the head.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this part where they mention how they always use the Indians to infiltrate other Indian tribes. That's the sellouts, the Uncle Toms. It's not hidden. I don't want to give too much because the book's not out yet, and I desire for people to actually be interested in it.
And it's a good read.
And it's short. It's shorter than my other book.
Short. It's easy to read. Yeah.
And the whole goal of that book was to give people like a sense of ownership. Like, you're not Negro, Black, Colored, Indian. This is your land.
And you right in the beginning, I'm not gonna say any specifics, but you said it right off. You said it right up. Yeah. So it's a very easy read. I read half of it last night.
And I reference European books where they admit. Yep. There's even certain books where they admit that they altered time. Like, they're bold. Like, they're telling you, hey, I'm gonna slap you in the face at 3 o'clock, so be at my house. And then they, you know, do whatever, and then you show up. Why? Why are you showing up?
Why is this happening to me? It's racism.
Right? And then, you know, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Colored people can't own stuff. So why are you questioning why you can't own property? And then Indians, right? Indian titles, not ownership of anything. So why are you questioning, why are you agreeing to be a slave and then saying, why are you treating me like a slave?
That's why they don't even bother. Yeah. They don't care. Yeah. They really don't. Like, they're looking at us like, what are you going to do, read a book? Yeah. If you really want to see fear, go into a law library. Yeah. Then you'll see some fear.
But, and here's the goal, right? Here's the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple, right? It's to go to those who know so they can point you in the direction. Otherwise, you'll be in a law library for years trying to figure out what's going on. But Drew Ali already set it up to where he had an adept chamber, you know, there's 3 different chambers. He had an adept chamber to where the people who know are supposed to dispense this information to the people so that they can grasp it, so that they can go study, so that they can go fix the issue, you know, hedges in the highways. That's the goal.
And that's why it's your responsibility to study so that you can help your brothers and your sisters.
Yeah, uplift all of humanity. Yeah. Also, these Europeans are suffering too. It's not just us. You know, some of the lower class ones. Not the ones who are benefiting from the thing. But there's this part I wanted to read, and it's talking about, you know, don't forget, you know, the glue that binds us as a people. Just because, you know, homeboy was arrested, he's not a declared Moor, he's still a Moor. Just because his status isn't corrected, his status is still correct. I know who he is. All he has to do is recognize who he is. You know what I mean? That's why I send him the information, because he needs it. Not because I'm trying to be the savior of man. Like, no. He needs this, just like I needed it. And you know, Taj, Cujo, Sabir, I can't name everyone, but you know, they gave out the information for free. I'm supposed to give it out for free. That's how people are saved. Like, how dare I have all this and then when I got a nephew?
Yeah, it's the same. If you think about say you get a purse. Girl, where you got that from? Yeah. You're gonna tell them a store.
Yeah. Stop being greedy.
Yeah, stop being greedy with knowledge.
Yeah. Because what's the point? So you can say you know a lot, okay? And what can you do?
But and you don't want to hold those people prisoner to you.
Yeah. You
don't want to have to constantly be having to feed all these people. Help them feed themselves.
Exactly. So you don't have to do as much. This is everyone's issue. You know what I mean? Not just mine, not just hers. Not just the guy who I know is locked up. There's so many. Our people know our people are mass in prison. They know it. I've watched, you know, what's that? What is it? Breakfast Club, I think. You know. Yeah. They talk about all the negative stuff that our people go through all the time. Why don't they talk about this? No. The solution. Either they don't know or they're like this. Yeah. For ratings or whatever. And I'm not trying to talk bad at them, but I mean, you know, Charlemagne the God, he has to know. You know, Charlemagne's a European. Smart. Yeah, Charlemagne's a European guy who like helped defeat the Moors, so it's not like he don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know why you would name yourself after a European. Well, that's like me naming myself Charles the Hammer. Charles the Hammer is the one who stopped the spread of Islam in Europe. Why would I call myself that? That's you know. And then Drew Ali said we keep using those names and principles that delude to slavery. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you taking all these European names? Yeah. Smith, Jones, Johnson, Freeman. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you proud about it? Anyway, I want to get back to the point. We need a temple here. You know, everywhere we go is the temple, but we need a place. Like we were talking about going to teach those children somewhere. Yes. But we can't give them too much because we don't have a facility to, you know. For them to come run to seek refuge. But we're trying to, you know, plant some seeds so we can sow later. You know what I mean? But the point is to plant those seeds. But the issue is we need the building. So when those seeds start to germinate and start to sprout, they need the sunlight. Yeah. You know what I mean? They need more nourishment. That's the point of the temple. I mean, that was my major point. That like, I'm trying to put as much information out there to you know, you shared your situation of this. This is a real life situation. Real life we're dealing with. Not just I know some knowledge and then I'm just gonna repeat everything. It's like, how do we stop our women? The men, because we're your natural protectors. This is what we're supposed to do. I apologize for my language, but how do we make the men interested so that they want to protect their women? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how do we do that? And I think, you know, showing like here's a woman who's dealing with a real situation. She's the need for the temple. Raleigh had who? Woman in his arms. You know, our people say, black woman's God. How come you ain't protecting her? This is how you protect her. You know, there's multiple ways, but get the European off her back. And I know plenty of them that will put up all this black woman is God on their Facebook, and then turn around, the only women they date or pay attention to or pamper is a European woman. Colored. They're colored people. Correct. They're fake. Yourself. Yeah, they're fake. Again, if you think, you know, if you got pride in your race and you think your situation will be better, help us set up a temple. Help us raise the consciousness of our people so we can set up a temple. But it starts here first, in you. And all of us, really. You know what I mean? What's that?
Nothing. I don't really have much to say.
Was there any more you want to talk about? Alright. Get him going. So I know, right? Don't get me going. I'm all sweating and stuff. So I also wanted to talk more about the Express Trust that Drew Ali set up. The 1010 9. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not messing the number up. Let me see. Where is the number? Where is it? This is what happens when I think I'm prepared. You didn't expect to go off on a tangent. No, I had certain things up, and then like Oh, so it's 10-10-10-5905. That's the document number that the trust that Drew Ali set up for us, and I'm gonna skip some things. But that's so you can look it up for yourself. Again, it is 10-10-5905. So just Google Drew Ali's Express Trust and then that number, and then it'll pop up. All right. Whereas the Divine Constitution and bylaws, along with Articles of Association and Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution for the United States of America shall be the building blocks for the body politic of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So what? Drew Ali didn't teach civics? Yeah, right. Whereas the books, 101 Questionnaire for Moorish Children, the Circle 7, the Adept Chamber books, and the Moorish Science Temple Divine Constitution and bylaws are the literary foundations for the ecclesiastical body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Whereas the Supreme Council and Grand Body will legislate law regarding the Moorish Science Temple of America, these laws will be communicated to foreign authorities to ensure that our operations are acknowledged, accepted, and protected through the normal course of international law. So that means, right, again, situation where, let's say one of us gets pulled over, Grand Sheik, whoever gets pulled over calls Grand Sheik, hey Grand Sheik, or whoever, right? Whoever, whatever. This policy enforcer, highwayman is pulling me over. I need some help. All right, you know the protocol because you've been studying with us. Only give your name or your appellation, your national identity, who you are, and then that's it. Be quiet, and we'll send sheriffs to assist you because this is a diversity of citizenship. This is an international situation we're dealing with. Every single time a European talks to us, that's international. That's an international incident. Every single time one of these Europeans pulls over, international incident. Just like when I was in Japan in the Marines, and they said any situation with any one of these Japanese people, that's international incident. Remember, you're an ambassador. Represent. At the time, it was represent the Marine Corps, but now represent your nation. Now I get it. You see what I'm saying? Every single time they talk to us, period, is international. Right? So they're supposed to recognize us, right? I went up on a tangent a little bit, but whereas the Supreme, Whereas the Supreme Council and Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America convene and resolve that the following will be resolved as law for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Whereas all recorded Moors shall have prerogative of jurisdiction in all matters, including nationality, title, status, claim, right, interest, and in the nature of any matter civil, criminal, commercial, or otherwise involving a Moor. Furthermore, the Department of Vital Statistics in each state in which a recorded Moor was born shall transfer and convey as title the domicile of origin back to Moorish Empire. So let me stop right there. So, they say we're born in the state of Rhode Island. No, we're not. This is Narragansett territory. So give me my stuff back. You can keep me as a corporate slave. That's what he's referring to in a nutshell, right? Of which their domination, authority, and habitation protected from between 3 degrees northeast of present-day Mogadishu and 22 degrees north latitude of Yemen, Moab. 5 degrees west of Sabaya, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. 12 degrees east of the Kingdom of Exum to 42 degrees east longitude. I'll skip some of this. What else? Furthermore, a recorded Moor is one who has filed a declaration of nationality in its various forms with the Cook County Recorder of Deeds in Chicago, Illinois, and has received a document number for that filing. In addition, the document number will be used as a tax non-obligation number. Either in the singular form for individual parties or the collective forms for families who have filed one document separately. All recorded Moors shall have full entitlement to all titles, statuses, claim, right, and interest in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Whereas so this is important. Whereas, well, all of it's important, but pay attention to this. Whereas the District of Columbia and Congress of the United States, under the United States Code, Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15A, will not have any undue influence upon the Jewish society of the Moorish people. Why? Because Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15A, the United States is a corporation, private corporation. So you don't have no jurisdiction over us. That's what Drew Ali just said. Diversity of citizenship. Enforce the Constitution. What you mean Drew Ali didn't teach civics? Whereas all titles of nobility, namely Il, Bey, and Ali, shall be recognized by international law. Whereas the flag of the Moorish Science Temple is and shall remain, because as you'll see if you get into the movement, you'll see people putting certain things on the flag like that's not what our national flag is, right? And they'll try to say, oh, we're the so and so empire of Moors, and we're the the red canopy with the green star, the mother of flags, and evidence and declaration of our natural descent to this land, the Moroccan Empire. So there's certain dirty Moors out there that they'll say this land ain't Morocco. Okay.
How not?
Right, and then there's certain Moors that'll say, oh, this is the they'll say what do they say? They say this is the Moorish flag, not the Moroccan flag. What? You know what I mean? And that's where caveat emptor comes into play. It's just these people are fools. Whereas and these are Moors saying this. Certain Moors are saying this. And I don't gotta mention that.
How are you gonna detach yourself?
Yeah, from your people.
Yeah.
And I don't even gotta mention names because we got Cujo, you know, with his Moorish scimitar, always chopping heads off. Whereas the Bureau of Moorish Affairs will oversee the operations of all councils currently listed, as well as those that may be established, dissolved, or amended in the future. So he set up a structure of government. This is how the temples are supposed to be ran. This is what he did, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Oh, crap. I get all excited. All right. Only authorized liaisons within the Bureau of Moorish Affairs will deal directly with central governments of foreign nations, including the United States of America, the corporation company, or authorized liaisons appropriated by such governments. Credentials of ventures, this is kind of small, so I'm like super close. Excuse me, hold on. Credentials of ventures sanctioned to operate under the authority of the following councils shall be furnished within 15 business days of the request by an agent of an authorized liaison appropriated by a foreign nation, including the United States of America and its instrumentalities, meaning like the state of this, the state of that, the state of whatever, the city of this, the city of that, you know, the town of this, right? The township of whatever. Business days do not include Fridays, as this is a holy day within the Moorish Science Temple of America. So let's say, you know, so-and-so is a proclaimed Moor and he's trying to get Fridays off. Okay, this is our religion. You can't work on Fridays. You see how that works? You see? No questions asked, because we have the right. We have the right to, you know, freedom of religion. That's in the Constitution. You know what I mean? All inquiries about the operations of these councils and ventures operated therein shall be directed to authorized liaisons within the Bureau of Moorish Affairs. You see how structured this is? This is why the temples were infiltrated. Remember, Rex 84, they talk about how they infiltrate to slow down the movement. That's what it's for. And then we're talking on the phone about the IRS, and certain temples have a 501c3. Yeah. That's how you tell that they're sellouts. You know what I mean? Because the status alone makes it tax exempt. Because we're dealing with divine national movement. No corporation company who isn't even government can grant me any tax exempt status. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Alright, so here's what Drew Ali laid out. The Council of Vital Statistics. The Council of Nationality and Birthright. The Council of Commerce. So we're always talking about economics, right? The Council of Law and Justice. The Council of Moorish Defense and Character. The Council of Consular Affairs. The Council of Consular Affairs. The Council of Moorish Education. Don't our people say how miseducated we are?
We are.
And what did Drew Ali set up? That's why he said Act 5, right? Every temple must have a school, because from your school comes the future leaders of the nation. Council of Private Service. Council of International Affairs. Whereas the document 10105-905, also known as the Vast Estate of Drew Ali, will serve as an instrument by which the Moorish Science Temple of America shall issue credit and discharge debt for recorded Moors throughout the vast estate trust, namely the lands of North, South, and Central America and the outlying islands. Now, let me stop right there. Don't our people talk about authenticating some birth certificate to discharge a debt? Don't our people say that, oh, you got to do the UCCs to discharge this debt? But Drew Ali just set it up.
Yeah.
We talking about you got to do something commercial to offset something that Drew Ali already set up.
If you do a UCC what were we talking about last night? UCC 1?
Yeah.
The power is still derived from the Europeans.
Exactly.
So now, how is it?
Now, what Drew Ali just pretty much said, he said, this is the rights of indigenous people. Remember, rights of indigenous people says we have the right to our land and resources back? Since all of this is our stuff, it's discharged already. We're not in debt to our own stuff. Right? Like, why we gotta pay for light if this is made off our estate?
That me coming to your house, I'm staying here now. You owe me this much.
That's exactly what the Europeans did, right? So it says people want to talk about discharging debt. Don't worry about no birth certificate and some CSQV that you're never gonna touch. That's some Europeans, and that's kind of the problems with the sellout. Some people aren't teaching this stuff, right? And it's not complicated. It's not hard to teach. All you gotta do is study and care. You know, care enough about yourself and your prosperity, really. Because some of us with nephews, sons, daughters, like, you don't care about them. Like, how are you selling them out? Look at a baby, right? Look at a baby's eyes, and like, I'm gonna sell you out. That's what these Indians, blacks, and these dirty Moors are doing. Literally.
No, it's look at the baby. Every year, I'm gonna sell you for $2,000.
Yep, I'm gonna sell you.
All right, great.
That's what they're doing.
So,
right? It's disgusting. All right. That's that lower stuff. And I keep jumping. All right, let me see. Where else? What else we got here that Drew Ali set up for us because he loved his people? Whereas all recorded Moors shall have the right to freely travel unobstructed, unmolested, and unfretted in their various modes of transportation throughout the North, South, and Central Americas. So it doesn't matter if you're in your private automobile, on a train, on a horse, on a bike, on a bicycle. You know, you got your Heelys on, it don't matter. They can't stay. You're heeling down the,
traveling.
Yeah. You got your Heelys on, slicking down the street or whatever. Well, not the street, but the sidewalk. Whereas all recorded Moors now imprisoned in penal holding facilities shall have the right to request the aid of a consulate officer of the Moor Science Temple of America to secure their release from such facilities. They got you diplomatic immunity. Hey, sheriff, so-and-so, whatever. You got so-and-so El Bay in there. This is Grand Sheik from whatever.
What's up?
I'm showing up. Oh, my bad.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, because the thing. Like how Malcolm X did it, right? Similar to Malcolm X, if you see the Malcolm X movie, or you just see a clip of it. Malcolm X and El Shabazz, he changed his name, or corrected his name. He showed up to the prison with a bunch of them, a bunch of Moors, you know, Mission Islam, a bunch of dark-skinned people. Went to the prison, made sure whoever was locked up got medical assistance, boom, 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 everything was good. Drew Ali set that up. Drew Ali did it first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would Drew Ali do, right? Let me see. Whereas if any Moor is forced into a judicial proceeding regarding any statutory violation, the liability charge placed upon the charging offender or offenders shall be the amount of $1,800. Now, during this time, they were dealing with gold and silver when Drew Ali was on the scene. Per minute. So, every time you had to go to these so-called courts, they owe you. But since there's no temple here, you know, there's power and unity.
We can't reinforce it yet.
You see the need for the temple? Boom, right? Per minute, which shall be awarded to the defendant based on the amount of time the defendant was detained, the amount of travel time spent, and the courtroom time that the defendant used in negotiating such matters. Also, the charging offender or offenders shall pay the jurisconsulate the amount of $5,000 gold per hour based on the time spent defending the libel. These fees shall be paid on the day of the hearing or trial. Moreover, all bonds and derivatives shall be surrendered to the jurisconsulate. So that means any records that they have on you, give it to us. Because you're not using this against our people as slander. Moor Science Temple America.
And with no delay, the next time I see you, I want my gold and silver.
Why? Because we're nationals. Our status is changed. Our status is different. This is our land. We need a temple.
Now,
you need to be awarded $1,800 for every second you were there. Yeah. But you know, Drew Ali said minute, but you know, I want seconds. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like.
But on the other hand, what has being black done for you?
March and pray.
What that's what I don't get. Like people want to sit and stay black.
Yeah.
How? Why?
Let's take responsibility. You know, this is
imperium. Old to you. You have an estate. You have a history.
And that's why I did the Moorish Dominions book, because people need to know they have an estate. Like when I first started learning, I didn't know. I thought it was from Africa over there. This is Africa. America's Africa, right? So that's part of the European, you know, brainwashing thing to make us think we're from somewhere else. Read this book. This is a great book. I'm always gonna. This is a great book. Also, Brother Abdul's book is a great book.
What's the name of it?
Moors and Masonry.
Where can you get it?
He has a website. I think you can just Google Moors and Masonry though. Let me see. Oh yeah. So you can get his book at moorishcivalletter.net. So MOORishcivalletter.net. Dope. Nice. This book is dope.
So support your Moors.
Yeah.
Because in order for us to have the flexibility to be doing this and do it more,
like Drew Lee said, it takes finance to raise a nation. All right. Anything else?
And also your book, if you want to get it.
Yeah. This one. This is my book. Are you confused about law? The truth about the black man and the judicial system. And then right here we have a Christian crusader or inquisitioner, Knights Templar. And then on this side we have a Moor. And in the center we have a Christian crusader, a Knights Templar. And on the ground we have a Moor. And then it says, law and history must be taught together. What we call racism today is in fact the continuation of genocidal acts initiated by the Inquisition and Crusades. The modern day police and their terrorism, not brutality, terrorism is a direct reflection on the Knights Templars and their actions authorized by the popes of Rome. And then by me. And then the Crusades against these people, that's what they were doing. And what they're doing right now, same thing.
And if you're looking for where to get started, that's a perfect book. That is a perfect book.
Well, RVBayPublications.com is where I started.
Yeah,
but this book
RV Bay has a lot.
Yeah.
They got some gems.
Yeah.
And they're not expensive. They're not long. That's a great place to start.
Look how small these books are.
Especially
this one.
They also post
look how small
free information too.
Yeah, on their website.
Yep.
And when I was watching the video of Cujo, and he had Abdullah on the thing, and he said like he wants this book to be like a reference book, and like a little study guide, and you could write books off of this book. And that was kind of what I wanted mine to be too. Like I even talked about, because when I first started learning this stuff, I was like, how come the Indians ain't making these connections? So I wanted to make the connections with so-called Indian culture and our culture. Because remember, Willie Lynch was take the mind, leave the body, and you separate. You know, you divide people in their minds. You make schisms. You make sects, right? So they took our culture and split it in half. They gave, here's some to the Indians, here's some to the so-called blacks. They told some of the Indians that your ancestors died to make up for the story that we took all these black people from Africa.
Yeah, so we can fight too.
Yeah,
no, that's my thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we can say, oh, well, the Moors, blah, blah, blah. No, the Indians,
you stole it from us.
Yeah, nah, well, I'm showing you, here's the connection, right? The Hiawatha Wampum Belt, right? So Hiawatha was like a student of the prophet Dekanawita. And you got this glyph right here. This is called the Hiawatha Wampum Belt right here. And we got our flag right here. And you got the 5 glyphs, the 5 civilized tribes, or the 5 titles of nobility. Right? You zoomed in on it, right? So they can see?
Yeah, also looks like the Marine Belt.
Yeah. And then you got the Tree of Peace in the middle, right? And then George Washington, I cannot tell a lie, chopped down my father's cherry tree, right? And then the Iroquois Confederation followed the Europeans into government, right? We fathered them. My father's cherry tree. You see what I'm saying? And then, I'm not sure if I put in here too. Oh yeah. And then the 5 principles, right? The love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And then the 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And you also got Allah, right? You got arm, leg, arm, head. And then you got arm, leg, arm, head. And then the video I did with the what's it called? The dream catcher. Yeah, it's really the crescent and the star. So they just take our culture, codify it, abracadabra, right? Let's confuse these Moors. Let's call them black and Moor, and then get rid of the Moor. Just call them black, and let's call some of them Indian. Willie Lynch, split them in the mind, and then we can just rule them. right? And then, you know, we'll go over it again, right? Blackamoor, any dark-skinned person, right? From this book, Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, 11th edition, right? Blackamoor is any dark-skinned person. And then Noah Webster's Dictionary, 1828, American is one of the various copper-toned natives found in America. And, you know, American and the Moor, linguistically related, you know. It's all broken down. But yeah, the Indian culture is Moor's culture. Proved it. You know what I mean? And then again with the circle of 7, and then the 7 drums. You know what I mean? And then even on the Dreamcatcher has the 7 feathers, 7 days of the week, 7 chakras, circle 7. It's all ours. Our people just need to know that they have an estate and know that it's theirs. You know what I mean? It's like once I found this stuff, and then I read Drew Ali said, "I brought you something you can shout about." There's been times where I've been in books, right? I've been in books reading, and I'm like, "Whoa, we did this as a people!" Like I really want to jump up and down and shout about it.
I was yesterday when I called you when I was in the library. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Right?
I just found it. Every little bit of information. I'm all loud in the library. Yeah. On a cell phone, everybody's like, shh.
Drew Ali was not lying. Like, you brought us something we can be proud of. I mean, like, we really did all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't just some black Negro slave. You know what I mean? That ain't us. It's dope. We come from nobility, for real. There's also something else I wanted to read. See if I can find it. Right now, like, you know, my excitement's all up. I'm trying to think clear, you know, trying to bring myself back down. So anything else? I don't want to have it all silent while I'm looking for something. It really is gold. You know what I mean? When she took charge of the class, it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I ain't taking no charge of the class. Don't be
lies.
Don't start spreading lies to the people. Oh, hell no.
In the start, you were like, "Let me say what I gotta say."
Yeah.
I know you're gonna go off.
Yeah.
Hold off.
Yeah, like the way you just like normally I do it, whatever, and you just did it. I was like, "Oh, cool. Take your seat." You know.
Don't ask me to do a class then. I won't know about
you're missing my point.
The point is that's your place.
Yeah. These so-called Indians always talk about the clan mother this, clan mother that, but then they don't want to give y'all your seat. They want to be the ones up front and with, try to act like they run stuff when it's really y'all.
Honor thy mother.
Exactly. Honor thy mother, thy father, so your days will be lengthened on earth's land. And the point is to get y'all up. You know what I mean? Like, get y'all ills up. Y'all the lawgiver. We just enforce it. The males, normally, and then things will be. Once we get back to nature, it's a wrap for the Europeans. The point, like their main goal is to get us out of nature.
Love yourself. Get in touch with yourself.
Once we get back,
find out who you are, and you'll be good.
Yeah. But yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Let me see.
Plus, I didn't want him messing up my name like he did the first time. Ruined my whole appellation. Talking about
that.
You ain't have this name forever. Put some respect on it.
I apologize.
Watch your mind.
I apologize.
Please.
I apologize.
I'm like, don't you start to live.
I was slipping up.
Get it right.
But that's how it's supposed to be. Where I slip up, y'all correct me. Because best believe you slip up, I'm correcting.
Yeah. Well, we know that. Forget correcting.
Yeah,
We'll do a whole segment, a whole hour on why you're wrong. Showing you facts to prove why you're wrong. Okay?
But the point is the facts. He's trying to correct it
so we can correct each other.
In our correct state of mind.
Yep. Because best believe, if I'm off, please get me back. Because I'm not trying to, Let me see. Oh. This is just additional stuff. So this is from Cultures of Native North Americans. It says, because we were talking about how the sellouts, right? They always had to have, no one defeats the Moors. Nobody. If you read history, it was always the Moriscos and the Conversos, those Moors who converted over to European factions was on their side, that defeated us. Only we can defeat each other. That's how it works. They codify it by saying this. In North America, to achieve their goals, the European conquest... hold on, let me just bring it back. Likewise, it would have been hard for the Europeans in North America to achieve their goals without the support of Native American allies. Such alliances were initiated by the indigenous parties who expected to gain their own advantages in the battle against their enemies. So if you read the history in the book that I sent you, that's going to be coming out soon. I have the history of here, the Narragansett territory that they keep branding Rhode Island. It's not Rhode Island. Read the history. They had to infiltrate the Narragansett Confederation because we had shit on lock. You wasn't coming through here and not paying tribute to our Confederation. That's what it was. That's how it was supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? They had to dismantle the Confederation. Talk about, oh yeah, now it's just a small tribe of these people because smallpox killed all these people off. And then we got a bunch of brown people thinking that they're Negro, black, and colored in these hoods and ghettos when it's really just another form of the reservation. So it just split everything up. That was Roger Williams' goal. Not to, oh, let me bring peace between the warring tribes. No. They slide up in like, hey, friend.
Yeah, let me bring my peace.
Yeah, and then they superimpose themselves. So let's, talk about what it really is. And you'll read. If you read History of Rhode Island, you'll read they always try to make it seem like Roger Williams was his friend.
And then why would your friend, after everything's said and done, snatch your kids from you, send them to reprogramming camps?
Roger Williams Housing, Roger Williams Elementary, Roger Williams this, Roger Williams that. And then, let me see. There's another thing coming out in this book, right? How they specifically talk about sending our children to become Christians. And that helps with their conquest. I'll just wait till the book comes out. But it's not hidden. Our people know what's up. And again, remember, 1740, the Great Awakening, where the Negroes and the Coloreds, so the blacks and the Indians, were really Moors descent, were now proud Christians. That was their goal from the beginning. That's the Inter Terra Divina that you were asking me about. That you didn't realize was in the back of my book. The whole mission was for them to come here, steal the land, force Christianity on the people. That's the mind and the body. Yeah, infiltration. And that's exactly what Roger Williams did. So once you start seeing the connections, it just starts making sense. Like, oh yeah, Roger Williams wasn't a friend because this happened afterwards. If it wasn't for him being, infiltrating the tribe, we would have been good. You know what I mean? But people try to say he's this great man. Yeah, he's great for the Europeans because he infiltrated us and helped, destroy the Confederation. Because also we got to realize that these tribes, which means family, they're not really tribes. They're political factions, political confederations, who have subsidiary confederations. Like, so the Narragansett Confederation would be like the state, and then they try to say the other tribes they would be like, the cities. You know what I mean? The other Juror societies. Like that's really what it is. Not this one family. How big is this? How big is your family? Like this one family control it. It's more like a confederation than a tribe, because tribe means family. You know what I mean? So try to keep that mindset too. Like this, it's not. They want us in this tribalism, so we're divided up still. Multiple tribes make the nation. That's the trick. They don't want you to know that. Multiple tribes make the nation. Not join my tribe and then you're part of my tribe nation. No. You have zero power like that. So also look out for that when you're learning, because some of these Indians are going to come at you like that, and some of these Moors are going to come at you like that. Don't do that. All right. I just want to go to this book. It's a great book, but I don't want to.
Don't keep going to it.
I don't want to give out, all the secrets, because I know how these people get down.
You have control of your reality, though, so it's kind of like, don't allow yourself, like, just to bounce off on what you were saying. Like, everyone's in control of their own realities.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you
Well, we're trying to get people to reality first, because some people are in this imagination reality, which, that's a reality, but it's not real. It's a false reality. So I just want to, establish the distinction.
Okay. Well.
You guys want to start wrapping up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to thank, the viewers for constantly viewing, and also the haters too. One of one of the videos, this guy called me a chimp. I thought it was funny. I was like, what monkeys do you see in this video? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what reality are you in, guy? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? And the hate is just so funny. Like,
that's fine.
Why do you hate? Like,
That's
what's
fine.
the point? But anyway, thank y'all for watching. You know, hopefully we get more people involved in helping themselves. And then hopefully we get a temple here, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, thank y'all. Peace. Like Jorley said, study, study, study. And if you ask me what to study next, study yourselves. That means your history too. Peace.
Peace.